Hello, sorry I'm unable to be in today. I have printouts of some entrance cards. There are 4 different ones. Take one, give it a try, and then trade with your neighbor to see if you can set up and solve this. So hit pause now and try the warm up. Here is the work for finding the intersection points of the first one. You need to figure out which one is above and below. There is no graph of this, so that you can tell which graph is on top and which is on the bottom. Integrating, and we get this. The second one, find the intersection points and solve. Again, there was no graph given. Here are the other two. Pause if needed to go over. And what we need to do today is turn things sideways. So Monday's lesson was, how do you find the area between two curves that were like this? It's the top curve minus the bottom curve. So the bigger y value minus the smaller y value. Now when we turn it on its side, it's the bigger x value minus the smaller x value. So right minus left. And notice that this is now x equals the function in terms of y. So to start this, what we would normally do, top curve minus bottom curve, the top curve as a y, the positive branch of the square root. And this equation, so the integral is the top curve minus the bottom curve. And where do these equal each other? They're equal when y equals 0 and y equals 1 as a coordinate. X -1, 0, and this one is 0, 1. And this we're integrating from the x value of -1 to 0. Here, raise the power, divide by the new power, divided by 3/2 is multiplying by 2/3. And here, distributing the negative x squared over 2 minus x, evaluated from 0 to -1. Plugging that top value in first, putting in 0. 1 to the 3/2 is 1 times 2/3. Putting in the 0. Now putting in -1. -1 plus 1 is 0. To the 3/2 times 2/3 is 0. -1 squared is +1, but we're subtracting it. Minus a -1. So we end up with 4/6 minus 3/6, which is 1/6. So this is one way to solve the question. However, if we turn it to look at it with the y's, that's the farther right equation minus the farther left equation. So let's do these in blue. I need x equals, well, x equals y minus 1. That is the equation on the right. Y minus 1 minus the equation on the left. This equation in terms of x is what it was given to us as x equals y squared minus 1. From the lower y value, which the lower y value is 0, to the upper y value, which is 1, this becomes y -1 plus 1. The 1's go away. This is a much easier function to integrate. It becomes y squared over 2 minus y cubed over 3, evaluated from 0 to 1. This is 1/2 minus 1/3. Now plugging in the 0. So 3/6 minus 2/6 is 1/6. in this particular example, we could have gone either direction, and it was easier in terms of y, doing the right minus the left and the top minus the bottom. They both worked. This one, doing the top minus the bottom is more of a challenge because the top curve changes. So just doing this in the right side minus the left side, the right side in terms of x, this side in terms of x, square both sides and subtract 1, x equals y squared minus 1. Right side minus the left side, and where do the y values meet up? Where does x minus 1 equal square root of x plus 1? Square both sides and solve. So the coordinates that I found are 0, x equals 0, and x equals 3. This coordinate down here, I don't want. I need to find where does this hit the x-axis, which is when y is 0, which is when x is negative 1. Think about that again. This is where it hits the y-axis. What is the y value, or x-axis? What is the y value when we hit the x-axis? The height here is going to be 0. So 0 squared minus 1, x is negative 1. Here, when x is 3, y is 2. All that to figure out now what am I integrating from? The lower y value, which is 0, to the upper y value, which is 2. Y squared over 2 minus y cubed over 3 plus 2y, integrating from 0 to 2. And 6 minus 8/3, I get 10/3. So again, doing right minus the left, this in terms of x values, x equals 3 minus y squared. This one is x equals y plus 1. Where do they equal each other? Move everything to one side and solve. Y is 1 and y is negative 2. When y is 1, x is 2. When y is negative 2, x is negative 1. Setting up the right minus the left, 3 minus y squared minus y plus 1. From y value, lower y value is negative 2, the upper y value is positive 1, which comes out to 4.5. The last example, this I would do top minus bottom. Which curve is on the top, which curve is on the bottom. Depends on where you are. This one, the blue one is g of x. The red one is f of x. Where are they equal? They are equal when x is 0, when x is positive 2, and when x is negative 2. To set this up, from negative 2 to 0, the red curve, which is the cubic, minus the quadratic, which is the bottom curve. And then we need to add on from 0 to 2, the top curve minus the bottom curve. Integrating, 3x to the 4th divided by 4 minus 12x squared divided by 2. Evaluate that from negative 2 to 0. Plugging in 0. Plugging in negative 2 is 12. Negative 2 squared is positive 4 times that negative 6. And then on this side, plugging in the 2, again, 16 divided by 4 is 4 times that negative 3 is negative 12. Minus plugging in the 0, we get 24.